Alright lads, so today we're starting off our new character showcases for the brand new characters in Brave Souls. In this case, one of my favorite characters of the year already, a new 1000-year Blood War anime version of Masaki. Her and Ishin are finally getting their new anime version, something that I was definitely looking forward to, especially within the year 2024, and I'm quite happy with the outcome that we did get. So Masaki as a character is a power human Quincy with the Espada kill ability. For the most part, she is more of a guild quest centered character. Now, she doesn't have any Guild Quest centered skills, but she's clearly being designed in mind for Guild Quest, and she does have a Barrage Attack SA2 and again the Espada kill ability. If you are using it in general PvE content, she's only going to have killer against the bosses, which can be quite of an annoyance when using it, I will be honest. Would have really loved it if they gave her a Espada and also a Ranka killer, but it's kind of understandable why they didn't, given that it's just a 1000-year Blood War Masaki, right? Characters with 2 killers are reserved for very special cases. Anniversary, end of year. Big named characters like Ichibe, for example. But one good thing about Masaki though is the soul trait. She's the first battle character in the game to have a status element spiritual pressure boost plus 40% soul trait, and that could be really good for someone like 8th anniversary Ichigo, her son, which is kind of nice little synergy, even if it wasn't intended. With that said though, having a closer look at the character's skills, all of her attacks here can inflict paralysis. That's important to understand because the way this character was designed is that she does have an increased chance to inflict status ailments, but in this case it's only against her Rankas. Again, more of a guild quest centered skill to a certain extent, as this does mean she's going to have an increased chance against every wave of enemies. All 5 bosses in Guild Quest, she's going to have that increased chance, and it means in Guild Quest content she's going to perform a lot better, but then if you take it into content like Inheritance Trials, it's not going to be as good unless she is up against a Ranka. So it's a bit restrictive in IT content, but of course it's a lot more better and ideal in the content she wants to be used in. But with that increased chance to inflict status ailments, she does then do 80% more damage to paralyzed enemies, 40% of that damage actually being for other power attribute Quincy's, which is potentially good in the future. The more Quincy's we get, more specifically, the more power Quincy's we do get, the better in a way Masaki does become, the better they become because they will have that synergy. Along with that 80% more damage to status afflicted enemies, she then does have Frenzy plus 2 and a 120% SP boost. So damage output wise, I mean this is very high, right? Frenzy 2 and an 80% SP boost is usually good as is, but she has an extra 40% and then she does have an increased chance with an extra 80% damage output. Really liking the skills that she does have here, especially with Debilitator, Havoc plus 20%. She has a good Berserker value, Nat Street 60%, and she also has Sharpshooter, so she has a lot going for her, especially again in Guild Quest content. Now, of course, the best way to build Masaki is by using a Quincy Cross for 20% more strong attack damage and also 30 SP, a Cape Fastener for 80% more spiritual pressure, and then of course a Fortification Pill for more SP and also focus. The links this time around, I'm going to be using an Orihime, an Aizen, and also a Renji, giving us a good mixture of recharge, strong attack damage, and also more strong attack damage when at full stamina. Now for bonus abilities, you can definitely go a few different ways. Always recommend going full stamina damage, but you can give SP if you are using it in Guild Quest. If you want to manually use the character, giving a long stride wouldn't be a bad idea. And then if you are using it in this month's epic raids, within weakened defense might be a lot better. But then again, given her damage output, she probably doesn't really need the weakened defense. But it's not a bad skill to put on her. For now though, I'm just going to be going with full stamina and also SP. So first up, let's take it into single player Inheritance Trials just to quickly get a feel of the character itself. Now for the record, I have given her long stride because I just prefer using it. I know I said I'd give her SP, but I did just switch it to long stride. So SA1 is going to be a pushback attack. It's an overall good beam. It's a range collision beam at that, but it's not a bad strong attack by any means. Some people might not like it, but I think we're past the point now where, you know, a bad SA1, and I say bad lightly, it's not a perfect SA1, right? If it was a melee collision beam, it'd be no complaints from me. And right now, to be fair, I'm not really complaining about it, but it is something to keep in mind. It's a range collision beam, pushes back, sometimes it kills, sometimes it doesn't, but I think it does the job. And in some cases, it kind of helps her out to inflict status ailments, where she then gets a 120% SP boost, like we did just do just there. And that felt super satisfying to do, especially with the SA3. I absolutely love the visuals of this character. What I kind of like when characters do get remade, especially a character like Masaki that doesn't do much. She has a very brief fight against Wyatt. Not even a fight, more so just a set of attacks where they change the Soul Bomb, her original Soul Bomb being the attack that she does defeat White with, and then they make her SA3, and it's kind of cool that they did turn this attack into an SA3. We kind of saw something similar with 1000-year Blood War Aizen, where his Soul Bomb was Hado 99, and then they just changed it to a strong attack 3. That way the character itself doesn't end up having the same attack. at least as their Sobon. So we all going through his quest relatively smooth, not super fast because we weren't trying to go for a fast playtime. I didn't even get opportunity to showcase the SA2, which I guess we can do right now. It is a barrage attack, which can hit quite a lot of times and can deal a lot of damage. I believe 3 times more than a normal strong attack 3, but it does come with the requirement of you being set in place and having to let off that entire attack. The best part about it though is that she was given poise, so even if you do take damage while using that SA2, you're still going to be able to do the attack, right? Plus, another great thing too is that the statement that she does have does complement the SA2 as well. One of the first characters we did see have the barrage attack was someone like 1000 Year Blood War Bambietta, who does more damage to burn enemies. This SA2 can hit a lot of times and does have a good chance to inflict status ailments, given the amount of times it does hit. But the thing with Bambi is that when she does inflict the status ailment on that SA2, the enemies can still just walk through it, especially a boss that does have poise. They can walk through and hit you. In the case for this Masaki, if she does inflict a status ailment on that SA2, it's going to paralyze and it's going to stop the enemy from actually attacking you. One thing to keep in mind though, when you do use this SA2, especially in content like this, is that you do want to know where the enemies spawn in, as to not waste the strong attack too. Because ideally you want to kill multiple ways, at least 2 ways to make use of it. Like now, for example, we didn't really position ourselves correctly, right? So knowing the spawn to get the most out of his character is definitely the best thing to do. Let's go ahead and use our SA3 there, and then let's go use our SA2. Again, examples of what not to do. I think we're definitely going to do one more run, as I've now, kind of remembered where the spawns are, and then we can try and get the best out of this SA2, right? But just to demonstrate the sub bomb, let's go ahead and use it right now. I gotta say, I'm a fan of the Soul Bomb. Again, Masaki is a character that really didn't do much. She does enough to warrant a new character. And if you've seen our anime versus game comparison, there are some original takes on Kayla's part as to not just have her do the same exact attack as a Soul Bomb. They threw in an extra original set of stuff to make the attack itself feel a bit more grandiose, which is what you do expect from Soul Bombs in 2024, so I think it actually came out really, really nice. Alright, so for our final attempt then in single player IT, let's go ahead here. Let's use our SA1 and then let them come down, and then can we aim downwards? Does that actually get the enemies on the next wave? It does seem to be the case. Nice. Let's SA1 upwards and bring these enemies close to us, and then we can use our SA3. That SA3 feels powerful, I gotta say. SA2 there, clears them up. There we go. At least if you can try and get 2 waves out of that SA2, I think it does a good enough job, right? Let's sit back, though. Push up with the 1. Unfortunately, 1 enemy was left alive. That's fine. Kind of wasted an SA3 there. But let's use our SA2. He'll walk into it. There we go. And then the enemies besides us, the next spawning wave does get defeated, so that's not too bad. And in this case, might as well use our Soul Bomb here. And that takes us into the final stage. Not too bad, right? Nice and easy. Again, this is definitely a character given her strong attack kit not being the greatest, right? I can definitely understand if you don't like this type of gameplay, but it's a character that definitely takes a bit of learning to a certain extent. If you know the map, you can definitely get the best out of her, given some of the inconsistencies in her attacks. Someone like Yuhabuk, the new Ishin that's in this banner, right? Since they just have Unga Boonga strong attacks that don't really care about the enemy's positioning, you can just spam all their strong attacks wherever you want to, and no matter what, you're going to clear fast. With someone like Masaki, it's definitely going to take a bit more planning ahead. But regardless, you can still clear pretty fast, especially when the enemies are Aronkas, because then you do have your increased chance to inflict status ailments. With that said though, let's try her out in co-op and see how she does perform. Alright then, so let's take it into co-op Inheritance Shells and see how she does perform, right? Now, usually in my case, I don't like best demonstrating them in IT when they don't have killer, but still I have to do it, right? I like just to do it anyway. I understand she definitely is going to perform a lot better when she does have killer, right? And not even killer, when she's up against Aronkas, because she won't have killer against the Aronkas, but at least she will have an increased chance to do so, and that will allow her to get through this Iron Skin ability where the enemies themselves are taking like 80% less damage. So maybe not a go-to character every Inheritance Charge, but whenever there are Aronka enemies, I think it's definitely worth or giving her a try if you are a Masaki fan. Let's use the SA2 there, downwards, there we go. SA2 does hit a few times, so it does give us a good chance of inflicting a status ailment, and it does actually not block the enemies, but it can actually trap the enemies in place, and it does work as a decent crowd control attack, which is better demonstrated in Guild Quest, right? So let's go upwards here, SA1 and then 3. Maybe shouldn't have used my SA3 there, to be fair, but I gotta say, I really do like the visuals of that SA3. It looks really, really cool, especially when you take out multiple waves. So the enemies are about to spawn in, the bosses more so maybe now's a good time to use the SA3. Use the SA2 there. Did a few hits in, maybe not the best all the hits in, but, you know, you got to play it safe a bit, right? Because if we do take damage, we are losing a lot of full stamina. Let's SA2 downwards, and then SA1 upwards. Well, I did notice the SA2 there did actually inflict a stat summon on one of the bosses, and they almost went down super quick. Could you imagine when it's an Espada enemy? They're going down like one attack. There's no way they're not. Let's go here, SA2. Fortunately, didn't position myself again. It's good to know where the spawns are when you are using a character like this, right? SA3, and then SA2, just to take down the little mobs. Unfortunately, the enemies themselves are right outside the radius. That's fine, though. Just gonna have to just flash step back a bit. Let's SA2. And then we got a good amount of hits in. So in cases like that, right, we were a bit slow in the bosses there, given that we didn't have an SP boost, but we were able to use it and did get quite a few hits in. Let's SA1 upwards. SA2. Get a couple hits on the bosses. Got to be a tad bit careful because, believe it or not, the, what's her name? This Uru is definitely one of the more annoying bosses. Now, can our Sovereign go to the final stage? I believe it should, right? I mean, she don't have like a strong Sovereign or anything, but she does have 80% more damage, so it should at least get into the next phase, as it does, and then we can just finish up with the SA2. So, I mean, I think she's an alright character in Inheritance Trials right now. Definitely not going to try that again. It's a bit risky because there are burn pools, but I think when there ever are Aranka enemies, she's definitely going to be a good enough character to use, as we are seeing with a lot of characters that have a very similar skill set with her, right? Someone like Ichigo. Oh, here are other characters that have an increased chance only against a certain type of affiliations. Don't really perform as good in content like this when they don't have killer, and the same can be said with Masaki. A 2-minute and 42-second play time is a bit on the slower side, let's be honest. When there's Aranka enemies though, I think you definitely can lower that down to maybe under 2 minutes, maybe 1:45, which is definitely a lot more respectable. Next up though, we're taking it into the Renji Abarai Awakened Epic Raid, where in this case she is a super bonus, as I'd like to call them, giving 100% more medals, but also a 3 times damage output. So she's going to be a great character used in Epic Raids for the month of June. For the build that we are using today, we are going to be using a Toshiro pet, giving 20% Berserker and also 20% more damage at full stamina. But we're also going to change our second pet here to Yoruichi, so we have 20 shield damage since we are going to be doing a solo run. That way we can get through the shield at the start and also the end, but the pets themselves are all basically giving me more damage at full stamina. These are the accessories. Again, with Masaki, given that she is a Quincy human, you can build her with either accessory. You can use human accessories or Quincy accessories. Both of them work. Not at the same time though, keep that in mind. But of course, we are also using a fortification pill. And then let's change this link, because we don't really care about links or potions right now, but that's something you can do, of course, when farming with her. We're going to go with this build. Let's jump into the quest. Now, lucky for us, the barrage attack does hit quite a few times, so it's a perfect strong attack to open up the quest. And look at that, we just absolutely rinse through the Renji shield itself, right? And then let's use our SA3. Probably didn't need to use the strong attack 3 there, to be fair. But it's fine. We might as well use our Sobom right now just to get the SP boost. Use our SA2 again. With SA2, you have to be a tad bit careful to get it all off, right? You have to definitely stand in a position where you know you're not going to get hit for quite some time. So let's not use the SA2 just now. Let's wait a couple seconds. Now I think is a good time to use it. Does have a decent chance to inflict stat summons. In this case, it didn't, unfortunately. Let's use the SA3. Let's go there and then finish up with the 2. And then now all we gotta do is to destroy the shield. This might take a while given that I just used the SA2, but we're fine. We're fine. We'll be by ourselves. SA2 goes off. As you can see there, it absolutely wrenches through the shield. And then we finish off with the 1. So sub 1 minute by herself. Honestly, not too bad. We'll try that again though, because I think we can get a tad bit faster. I want to see if in the second phase we can actually inflict a stat summon so we can clear even faster, right? Because our damage output definitely is tied behind that. Once you inflict the stat summon, you get the 120% SP boost, 80% more damage. You do more damage, so let's try that once more. Alright then, so let's see how this one does go. So we're going to, again, open up the raid with the SA2. Probably the best strong attack that we can use here. And then we might as well use our SA1. We'll save the SA3 to follow up instantly with the Sobom after we do apply a stat summon. So a couple more nad hits. There we go. Let's Sobom now. And then 3. Did I see 500k per hit? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. I know we have a 3 times damage output now, but still. Let's use the SA2 while we still have some damage from the stat summon or the spiritual pressure boost. SA3. And it seems like we aren't getting lucky to apply stat summon, but I think it just doesn't matter right now. Let's use the SA2, and then we're already into the final phase where now we have to use our strong attacks to destroy the shield. It looks like we're probably hard capped around sub 1 minute anyway. We'll see how it does go. I feel like this is faster. Can we get a sub 50? Looks like we can. Oh, hold on. Looks like we can. That's not bad. 47-second clear time. I mean, it's expected, right? Masaki is a hard-hitting character, especially in content like this where this SA2 in particular, the barrage attack, it can be good in epic grades if you know the layout. So if you know when to use the SA2 to get the best opportunity to use it, to take full advantage of it so you can get all the hits off, which you can do quite regularly, quite often in epic raids. By doing that, you're able to do a lot more damage and therefore clear even faster. 46-second clear time by ourselves, but let's see what a full lobby is going to look like. We somehow ended up getting a full Masaki lobby though, so we'll take it. I wasn't expecting that. This one should surely go a lot faster, right? Especially with all the Masakis using the SA2 right from the get-go. This one might be a bit crazy. Alright then, so let's see how this does go. Hopefully all the other lads here are using the pets too, so we can go through it faster. Seems to be the case. Renji is getting absolutely bombarded right now. Probably should have used my soul bomb. I will just let it play out, right? I'll use my soul in the second phase. SA2 now, there we go. I'll use my soul bomb. Didn't seem like I was the one to use the soul bomb. That's fine, but look at that. Look at that. We actually went through the final phase. That's something that you can do, by the way, if you aren't already aware. If you're doing so much damage, before the boss can even recognize that it needs to go into the final phase, the final shield phase, you can just instantly brute force your way through it. In this case, a full lobby of Masaki. Look how happy she looks. With that, we did get an 18-second clear time. Honestly, not too bad. And of course, with that, we're also getting more medals too, right? 250% more medals. And still, even though we aren't using like link store characters or droplet characters, I mean, these are still a decent amount of drops. With some summon tickets too, epic grade is still worth farming, right? Especially right now, if you drop Masaki. Last up, let's take it into Guild Quest. Now remember, she is someone that you want to use in the Espada Guild Quest, but more so the ranged Espada Guild Quest. As of right now, we have the melee one, which means she isn't really a character that you're supposed to use, but can you use her? Maybe. We're about to find out. It does appear that people are using her though, because she is the 4th most used character. I think the general idea with this character is that she does have the increased chance to inflict paralysis, which might give you enough damage. So maybe this will work. We're about to find out. For the build though, we're just using these 3 accessories. Links again the exact same. And then we're given a full stamina and now weakened defense, since we are going to rely on Rukia doing more of the damage. I guess for now though, it will give us a quick understanding, a quick little tease, sneak peek more so, on how often she is going to inflict stat summons, right? As we can see there, we've already inflicted Stark with the SA2, or the paralysis more so. And the SA2 itself did do a decent amount of damage there. Let's SA1 upwards. This is very likely, as you can see there, to inflict stat summons. And that basically allows the Rukia to do more damage. Although we are going to notice here is that we are going to have to probably spend a lot of time killing the mini-mobs, right? Now, in the Ranger Spada Guild Quest, we won't really have to worry about that. Despite her not having an Aranka killer, her damage output is high enough as is that she'll probably still one-shot all the little, you know, mini Arankas. Right now, though, where our damage is basically 1/4 of where it's supposed to be. But look at that. All the bosses are getting paralyzed. There's not been a single boss that hasn't gotten paralyzed with just one attack. Let's use the SA2. Keep Aaroniero in place. That's SA1 upwards. Again, paralyzed instantly. SA3. And then Rukia kind of has to do all the job here to like take them out. Let's use our Sobom right now. Someone did do a good enough damage there. Very slowly but surely, can we actually defeat this final boss? Come on, Rukia, you can do it. Oh, okay. I'm not going to use any more tickets than that. We're counting it as a clear. You can see there was one mob that had like a sliver amount of HP. I would do another ticket, and therefore we could like get the official confirmation that she can beat it. But I haven't actually done Guild Quest yet, and it is on its final day. I do need to reset to get a good score, but I mean, she basically just proved it, right? Unironically, it appears that you can use someone like Masaki in the melee Espada Guild Quest, even though you're not supposed to. But the fact that she can do still some damage, but most importantly, always inflict the bosses with paralysis. Every single boss there, from one strong attack, was inflicted with paralysis. So when she does do damage in the Ranger Espada Guild Quest, which we will showcase on the channel, you know, like 2 weeks time when it does come back. When that happens, I mean, she's going to be constantly paralyzing the enemies and then doing just significantly more damage. The thing that held us back here, in this particular quest, when she's not supposed to be used, were the small little mini Arankas. Given that our damage output is being halved here, it's understandable why we weren't one-shotting them. And we actually did defeat Okura in the end. There was just one little mini mob left alive. If we reset that, we could have actually done it, but it's fine as is. With that said though, lads, that was the video for today, trying out the new 1000 Blood War version, anime version of Masaki. Very happy with this character, truth be told. I know not everyone likes the ideas of remakes, more so mainly because they're still waiting for, new characters to come to the game like the Stunrich that I know a lot of us are waiting for, myself included. That's why I still have 6,000 orbs, right? But Masaki and also, of course, Ishin were characters that desperately needed their remakes. I'm glad they finally got it. I think visually the character itself was done justice, and as for the character itself, she's definitely good enough, right? She is obviously more of a Guild Quest centered character. I like that they didn't give her any Guild Quest specific skills though. So if you do take her outside of Guild Quest, she still performs like she does in Guild Quest. But if you are looking for her to be your main power character, maybe she's not entirely that. She definitely does want to have Killer, or more so go against the Aronkas, where she then does have an increased chance to inflict status augments. And when she does, she's definitely going to play a lot better, because then she can take full advantage of her SP boost and obviously 80% more damage to paralyzed enemies. A quick demonstration in Guild Quest showed that she's obviously going to be very good in there, and she was honestly not too bad, even though we were using it in a Guild Quest week where we weren't supposed to use her, that being the Melee Espada Guild Quest. More of a Guild Quest character overall, but definitely still a solid enough character if you do enjoy Masaki's gameplay. And I think her being a power character is definitely one of the better parts about her, because power needs more characters like this. Just overall good, solid characters. Not best character in the game status, but overall just a good character to have. And that's exactly what this Masaki is. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about her, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.